Hello, everyone. Welcome to the resume writing workshop. Today, I'll be sharing with you information about resume writing. And at the end of today's workshop, you'll be able to describe the purpose of a resume, list four main sections of a resume, and know how to write an effective resume bullet. So let's get started. The main purpose of a resume is to get an interview. Resumes serve as a marketing document and a writing sample. So it's important for you to make sure that your resume is ready to go as you use it to apply for any of the positions such as internship or jobs. There are two style resume, both chronological and functional style. The chronological resume is the most important and widely used format, and it's something I highly recommend for all BSc students to utilize. Its defined feature is listing of work experiences in reverse chronological order, with the most recent experiences listed first. Most employers prefer this format versus functional resume omit work experience instead listing a list of variety of abilities and accomplishment under functional heading. The functional style resume is typically used for individuals who have extensive experiences and desire a career change. So for most undergraduate students and even graduate students at BSU, we suggest you to stay with a chronological format for your resume. Resume must be one page unless you have significant experience, perhaps close to 5 to 10 plus year experiences, then you can use a extensive resume such as more than one page. However, for most students at BSU, we recommend to stick with a one-page format. Like I mentioned earlier, resumes serve as a writing sample, so be sure that it is error-free. It includes the most important information and reverse relevant information to demonstrate your skills applicable to the job that you're applying for, and provide example of how these skills and examples in your bullet point that will be applicable to the position you want to apply for. When crafting your resume, list your experiences in reverse chronological order by the end date in each section. Keep in mind that you should only list past experiences and current experiences, not anything such as future plans. Always recommend you to be clear and concise and list your most relevant bullet point for the position in which you are applying first within each of your experiences. Always be truthful about your accomplishment and background. Since it is a concise document, it is recommended that you don't use any first person's writing and keep it into a bullet point. Format is important because if it's clear to the reader, reader will want to read it. Use a clean and clear readable fonts such as Times Roman, Cabrini's, or any other font that is easy to read. Carefully use bold, underline, italicize, or capitalization to add emphasis. So keep it simple and stick with the simplest format if possible. Resume can be broken down into four main sections: contact information, education, work experience, and skills. So let's dive into those four sections. Contact information, those usually in the first sections of your resume, which includes your name, your locations, phone number, email address, and even optional your LinkedIn URL. Keep in mind that you should include your current contact information or position in which you will likely going to be able to commute from. So sometimes you may be listing your home address versus the campus address, but if you're commuting from campus, you may likely suggest to put a campus address on it. It's not needed to put your full address on it. You can simply state the city and state is sufficient for a resume. Like I mentioned earlier, if your personal website, online portfolio, or even a polished LinkedIn profile, you can include the link of your personal website, portfolio, or LinkedIn on your top sections of your resume. The second part of your resume should include your education sections. Educations can be included in multiple formats, but keep in mind your format is consistent throughout your entire resume. But in education, you should include Bridgewater State University, Bridgewater, Massachusetts, your year of graduation, so your month and year, and also your degree type. Let's say if you are pursuing multiple degree and you admitted into an accelerated program or master's degree program, you list a master's degree first, followed by a bachelor's degree with the expected graduation date. You can also include your majors and minors and also your honors. If you receive Dean's List or you have a GPA above 3.0, you can include that information on there. As you can see on the slide, if you are in an exchange program, you can include study abroad or exchange program on your resume. Or if you transfer from another institution, you can include your transfer information listed in here. And for example, in this example, Massasoit Community Colleges, if you did not complete a degree, you can just simply list your coursework. If you complete it with your degree, you can put your associate degree included in Massasoit Community College informations here as well. For those of you who are first-year student, you may have an option to include your high school. However, if you're going into your junior, senior year, we usually recommend that not to include your high school information anymore on your resume, by simply just include your college information. Experience section can be broken down into multiple sections. You can include different headings such as relevant experience, related experience, teaching experiences, internship experience, work experience, or even other things such as leadership involvement, activities, community service, volunteer experiences, and so forth. So the heading can be customized based on what you would like to include in each of the sections. Trying to prioritize bullet point based on relevancy. So the first bullet is the most important under each of your experiences. So make sure that you highlight helpful information from the get-go. We always recommend you to quantify when possible in each of your bullet point, trying to provide detailed information to describe your experiences, trying to use a strong action verb. So something like facilitate, monitor, supervise, oversees, describe. Those are very good action verb to be used in your bullet point. Trying to avoid wording like responsible for, helped, supported. Those are passive way to describe your experiences. Trying to change it into a strong action verb. Do you include information such as month, year in each of your experiences? Usually, I would suggest to include month, year to month, year of your durations of your employment. You can also include anything such as part-time experiences or any retail positions, because those can be helpful to highlight you have work contact and work experiences in the past. For those of you who do not have any work experience, consider include any activities, any of the leadership involvement on campus, or even volunteer experiences, service learning trip that you attended. Those are information that you can supplement or replace in each of your experience section as well. Things to consider, we always recommend you to use our resume packet on our website at career.bridgegov.edu. You can click on the resume sections and you can see the how-to guide with the resume packets available, which includes a list of action verbs you can use. You can also explore the ONET. You can just link through our website to go to ONET, or you can definitely Google ONET and go through that section to learn about the Department of Labor information and occupations and vocational info, because they have some really good action statements that relate to the activity and that you can utilize to describe your bullet point. You can also search job descriptions in job sites such as Handshake, Indeed, or many other to find languages to be used to describe your experiences, to help you contextualize information about your position that you have worked in. Or can also review any of the job internship descriptions and position you want to apply for to see how much you can utilize some of the action verbs they use to put them back into your resume to describe some of your current or past experiences. Try to quantify and qualify any of their experiences, such as any of the dollar amount, impact, descriptions of number of attendees, participations in involvement activities, what some of the impact might you have in describing your experiences are helpful for readers to understand the capacity and the quality of the work that you have done. Be sure to highlight accomplishment and impact. What are the results that you may have accomplished as a result of the tasks that you did in your current job or past job? Sometimes we recommend students to use the STAR method, which is a helpful method, whether or not use it for resume writing or interviewing or any other setting. STAR method can help you contextualize your bullet point as well. STAR method referring to situation, task, actions, and result. Those are usually helpful way to describe your bullet point and also to use that as an interview to describe your past experiences. Situations referring to what was situation and problem or conflict. Describe specific event or give information and details. what task did you do? And also, what are some of the challenges that you were trying to address? What action did you take to address those issues and challenges? And describe how you accomplished those tasks. And last but most importantly, what the result and impact that you might have, and describe the accomplishments there. Here's an example of how to use a STAR method. A bullet point, instead of saying responsible for creating a training manual, you can describe, say, initiate, roll, and edit the first training manual for companies' database systems tracking system, which cut the training period in half and was adopted across the company and still in use today. So what we love about this particular part of it is initiate, roll, and edit, provide some context about what you did, which is a fantastic use of action verb. What the task was, creating, edit the training manual for the company database system. So that's give me the context of the task that you did. And this person also highlighted the impact, which cut the training period in half, and also describe about the long sustainable impact, which is adapted across the company and is still in use today. So this is a fantastic way of using a variety action to describe your task and your bullet points. So highly recommend you to use this particular method, the STAR method, to describe and write your bullet point in detail. Here are two additional examples that you can take a look at. It's also available on the resume packets on our website. So I encourage you to take a look at that. I'll give you a minute to take a look at some of these content. One thing is important to note, if you're currently in a position, you can use simple present tense. So you can see the first one, you will notice that the persons use simple present tense to describe the experiences, track market trends, develop new business leads, compile monthly client financial statements, monitor company's digital presence. Those are fantastic use of action verb as well. Versus the second example, like this good company, this person's completed the task. So all of these bullet point has a past tense listed, developed weekly content, strategize closed loop marketing, optimize organic keyword on YouTube website, and so forth. The third area, which is the skill sections, is also another important aspect of it. By this point, employers getting a sense of education, get a sense of your experiences of work history or employment experiences or even activity that you're involved in. This is also a section that you can start to highlight some of the technical skills and language skills that you might have. When you list this particular section, you have multiple ways to describe that. So this is a two example that you can highlight. When you describe your computer skill, make sure you highlight your level of fluency and proficiency, especially the language skill itself. You definitely want to highlight the level. Most of level are native fluent, means this is a native language, fluent, conversational, basics, or working knowledge of it, or intermediate. Intermediate working knowledge means you will be able to use the language in the work setting. It might not be as fluent as a native speaker, but you should be confident and be able to maintain a conversation. If you don't believe that's the case, definitely use the word basic or conversational as to describe your language skills on there as well. Try to expand your content in such a simple as, say, Microsoft Office. I highly encourage you to describe what are some of the products that you use. You can also include things like Microsoft products, Google products, but also other products such as Teams. If you use Zoom on a regular basis and you feel very confident in doing that in this hybrid work setting, having Zoom or any other communication channel like Slack or any others could be something you can add onto your skill sections. If you are part of a specific technical training, I will highly encourage you to include any of the technical product that you use to describe your experiences as well, and maybe your knowledge of utilizing those instruments or those software products. So if you're in the technical field, utilize this space to expand some of your knowledge. If you're certifications such as Google Ads, if you're a marketing person, or any other cybersecurity training that you may have done, highly encourage you to include that in the certification section as well. Remember that if you are in the technical field, you can even move the skills section to the top of the page. For those of you who may have a variety of experiences and interests, you can definitely highlight some of the other experiences in different sections you can include in the resume. So things can be honors and activities, coursework. One of the more important things I will highlight here is your project experience. If you've done some academic project in school that could be applicable to the industry, highlight your academic project and describe your experiences could be helpful. Interest, publications, research, competition, leadership activity, volunteer work. Any presentation you have done or professional organization that you are involved in can be included in your resume. Here's an example of research experiences. If you have research project you have done, highly encourage you to describe them and add that onto your resume. And will be useful for employer to know that you have done some research experiences related to the industry. And here are 2 examples that you can take a look from your screen. Other session to include, like I mentioned earlier, can be leadership activities. I encourage you to definitely add those because it shows that you're not just going into school and going home or work, but you're also involved on campus to develop your leadership skills. But also, if you're actively involved, you can use a secondary section to include things without your bullet point. If you do have space in your resume, highly encourage you to describe your experiences as well. Many of you applying for job online might come across something called applicant tracking systems. These are systems that company uses to screen or even to collect documents. They may utilize a tracking system to scan applicants with qualification that are applicable to the job they apply that you're going for as well. So something I will highly encourage you to take a look at as well. Keep in mind about the applicant tracking system. It's important for you to note that trying to keep things simple, precise, to the point, trying to keep your format simple, avoid using any table, graph, and chart on your resume. Try not to use any template online. Use simple Word document to type up your resume. And keep in mind that you can use some of the common headings such as relevant experience, professional experience, leadership, involvement, activity. Those are appropriate wordings to use. Try not to use 3 or 4 word headings because sometimes it can be difficult for tracking system to review. When you submit things online, make sure you follow the instruction. If you're asking for you to submit a Word document, please submit the Word document. Otherwise, I highly encourage students to make sure that you can do a print test. When you finish the documents on, let's say, Microsoft Word or even Google documents, trying to save it as a PDF to make sure the format doesn't change, and also make sure you do a print test. So print your documents on any printer online to see how that comes out from a piece of paper. That's a good way to assess whether or not you're utilizing information in the full extent. Last thing I will mention about margins, trying to keep your margin into 1/2 inch to 1 inch margin to make sure your font size within 10 to 12 fonts for your resume. And also lastly, make sure you always proofread your documents before you're submitting online, making sure there's no typos and no errors on your document. And it's always recommended to have multiple people review your document before you submit it online. So for example, if you're interested in having us review, I highly encourage you to come in during our drop-in hours to get your resume review from any one of our career advisors at Bridgewater State University's Career Services and Internship Office, which we are located in RSU 104. We open on Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and evening appointments is available by request. So I highly encourage you to set up appointments through Handshake to get one of our advisors to review your documents or have someone from another person to look at your document before submit things online. That's all for today. Best of luck and look forward to chatting with you again in future episodes of different career resources and career topics. Talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.